So today we're going to be talking about the brand new John Varvatos XX Artisan. So I've actually had this guy for a couple months now, picked it up as soon as it became available on retailers, and it's just kind of been sitting here in the box. I've prioritized a lot of the other new releases over this one, even though I've had this one for longer than a lot of the other ones. But I finally figured it was time for me to go ahead and give my first initial impressions on this one, because I personally am a really big fan of the John Varvatos line. The Artisan fragrances especially are really, really good for summertime. And I'm curious to try this one out, see how it stacks up with the others, and I'll also let you guys know if I think this is going to be one that you should look into. Currently at this time, this is only available at retail price. You can get this one at Macy's.com. I will link it down below. And usually they're always going to be getting in the new releases before discounters can get a hold of them. So over time, I'm sure this one will start popping up, hopefully for around $30 or so on discounters. But as of right now, full retail is the only way to go. And if you do want to grab it, that link will be down below. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this guy open. We'll take a brief look at the bottle, and then we'll get into how it smells. Like I said, I really like the Artisan fragrances. I like the bottles. I like the scents for summertime. I like John Varvatos, the house as a whole. They have a lot of good fragrances, but the Artisan line really kind of holds a special place in my heart. I really like Artisan Aqua. I like Artisan Pure. Artisan Blue is really good. All of the Artisans are great. Of course, the original. Now let's take a look at the bottle. And I have to say, this is a sleek looking bottle. Take a look at that. So you have the traditional kind of wicker style here. It is texturized, but it all has a silver kind of metallic finish to it. You have the cap up top, which is definitely an upgrade to a lot of the other caps. I'm going to grab a couple other John Varvatos bottles. We'll take a quick comparison, but you can see cap XX on the top, and you do have a little sticker thing to pull off, very satisfying, and then that just keeps it from getting smudged up. On the bottom, you have the batch code information, and this is actually wood that appears to be kind of painted as well, or probably some sort of faux wood, but it does kind of feel like a thin piece of wood. So I don't know, cool details all around here. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite looking bottles. Very sharp, very cool, and I like it. So I quickly grabbed a couple other Artisan fragrances off the shelf. I can only hold so many. Here's the original Artisan. You can see it has a similar style, but done in a different way. Cap is different. Here's Artisan Pure, very well known, very hyped up. Similar style, but still different than the new one. You can see the wickering here on this one. It's a little bit wider. A little bit more pronounced almost, and it's just quite a bit different. Definitely differentiation between the two. Still really cool though, and again, the coloration on this is hard to beat. Looks very modern, very clean. The cap on this one does just slide into place. It does not click, just like the other Artisan fragrances. Let's go ahead and give this one a spray on the tester strip. We'll also do a spray on the hand as well, just to kind of see how it appears on both. A lot of times when people walk into a department store, they're going to be smelling it first on paper, and then, you know, they'll smell it on skin probably after they buy it, and it's going to be a completely different scent. So I like to smell them both just for my initial impressions. Smelling it though right off the bat, on both paper and on skin, it smells fantastic. Now on skin, it is coming across sweeter. On paper though, it is a little bit more musky. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus on skin, just because that is the most important part. Opens up a little bit sweet, very tart. You get this nice bitter orange up top, which is listed as a note. So it's a little bit fruity, slightly creamy, but it definitely is a bitter orange, more so than kind of a semi-sweet, smooth and creamy orange like you get in a lot of other fragrances. And it kind of gives it almost a citric type of opening because of that tart bitterness, kind of a sour touch that it has. There is also bergamot listed as a top note, and that is coming through as well to give it a bit of that tart feel. So it opens up very tart, very fresh right off the bat. Not a whole lot of a creaminess going on up top like you would maybe expect from orange. Keep in mind, bitter orange, and that bitterness does come through along with the bergamot, kind of giving it a sour, tart touch. So I will go ahead and read off the note breakdown really quick just to get that out of the way. Up top, we do have that bitter orange and bergamot. In the mid, we have geranium, Sichuan pepper, and wormwood. In the base, we have vetiver, cedar, and musk. So smelling it here right off the bat, you're getting that citrus, that fruit up top, and also I'm getting quite a bit of that geranium, and that's kind of giving it a touch of a green feel and a more aromatic type of touch. You know, the geranium mixing with the woods, the vetiver, the cedar, and also the musk gives it this aromatic feel all around across the composition, along with that citrus and that fruitiness. Very smooth, very well-rounded. There's something in here that has this cooling kind of freshness, and I'm not sure if that's coming from the wormwood. I do get a little bit of that pepper in the mid, and I find I do get a little bit of that pepper that's listed in the mid, but I also find that that pepper is working with the cedar wood. Now, sometimes cedar wood can come across a little bit dry and a little bit spicy as well. And I always like to compare to fragrances like Gucci Pour the original, also something like Bentley for Men Absolute, which is very similar to that one. Kind of has this dry woodiness, a bit of a spiciness, all coming from that cedar wood. And that's kind of how I pick up on it here, just that similar type of cedar wood giving it that spiciness. Another example is something like Creed Royal Oud. It's called Royal Oud, but it's all about that cedar wood, and it kind of comes across in a similar way. So that cedar wood mixing with that pepper gives you a little bit of a spicy variety in the background, along with that citric fruitiness up top, and then this nice musky base. And I have to say, oddly enough, the look of the bottle really matches the scent very well. When you see a bottle like this nice metallic flaked gray bottle, you're going to think of something that is fresh and that is clean. And this one is definitely both of those things. It just kind of has this light, almost ozonic airiness about it. Just fresh, musky, clean woodiness. It smells like a modern, clean guy. And the coloration of this bottle looks modern, and so it's a really nice fit. You know, it does kind of have a gray type of smell to it. And it also, to me, kind of comes across as like a spring into early summer fragrance, and this kind of color kind of goes along with that as well. You know, it's not a bright blue bottle, which makes you think summertime, but it's not like a dark, deep colored bottle like black or brown or a maroon color that makes you think of fall and winter time. Kind of is in the middle ground. Now, obviously, this is an Artisan flanker, so how does it compare to the other Artisan fragrances? It really doesn't. At least from what I'm smelling so far, it doesn't really smell anything like the original Artisan or any of the other ones that I have, and I believe I do have them all. I just recently acquired Artisan Black, which is discontinued, and it really doesn't smell anything like those other ones. While they may share some similar notes, this one really goes off in its own direction with that aromatic touch, the nice spiciness you get from this one, and that nice woody, dry cedar wood. And again, you do get some green facets from this one coming from that geranium. Gives off this slight mintiness and this greenness, almost a little bit of an herbal touch as well. So I have to be honest, I have to admit, going into this one, I was not expecting to be blown away. And really, it's unfortunate for me to say that because, like I've said millions of times, I've raved on and on about John Varvatos. They have some really, really good fragrances. But the last few, like Artisan, but the last few releases that they've been putting out have been going in a direction that I don't really care for all that much. And they've just kind of been going a bit more mainstream, a bit more boring. You know, a lot of the ones that they've put out beforehand were kind of pushing it. You know, they were quite a bit different. They've been going away from that. So, you know, it pains me to say that I wasn't too awfully excited about this one, but I have to admit, this smells really, really good. It would be great for the office, great for springtime, great for summertime. And just smelling it here right now without fully experiencing it, this might be one of my new favorites from the line. Seriously, like, this is no joke. It's really that good for me. I love the aromatic nature that this one takes on. I love that bitter orange up top. I love the woods from this one. It's a really, really nice blend. Nothing about it smells cheap. Nothing smells synthetic. I'm really impressed with this one. You guys know I recently covered John Varvatos XX, I believe is just what it's called, on the channel recently. And this one here was kind of boring. Again, not really the direction I was hoping for, but this guy kind of redeems it for me. So I'm going to let this dry down a little bit longer on my skin. I'm going to come back and kind of give you my final thoughts. I want to let it develop a little bit more before I sign off and, you know, give you my final thoughts. So I'll be back with you in a second. Okay guys, so I'm back. I've given this one some more time to dry down. I'm going to continue to wear this one, test it, give you a full review in the future, but I wanted to give it a little bit more time to dry down before I close this off. And as it sat, the vetiver has come in more. It's a nice, clean, fresh vetiver, and it really smells like the type of vetiver used in something like Roja Parfum's vetiver and Tom Ford Grey vetiver. Just a nice, clean vetiver. I'm not saying it smells like those, but the type of vetiver used, the way it comes across like those. It's got a touch of a soapiness, a bit of a sparkle, and a nice creamy woodiness as well. And the vetiver does become more apparent as it sits longer on your skin. You pick up on it a little bit along with those woods in the opening, but for me, it was really the cedar wood and the spices, and maybe a little bit of that wormwood, or the pepper, I guess, and some of that wormwood coming through. And the vetiver was not quite as prominent, but as it has sat and settled down, The vetiver is becoming kind of the star of the show here. And I have to say, this is impressive. I'm very happy with this fragrance. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. I'm super happy with how this turned out. Everything from the bottle to the scent. This is a winner in my opinion. This one has my stamp of approval and easily one of the best John Varvatos releases we've had in the past few years. Once this one hits discounters, I think this is going to be a great pickup. And you will probably see this one popping up in videos in the future, perhaps a top 10 summer list if I really test it more and really start to like it. This one's going to be coming around. I'm very happy with this. So guys, let me know your thoughts on Artisan XX if you've tried this one. Let me know down below what you had to think, and that's going to do it for me. Remember, if you want to grab this one at full retail, but it is your only option right now, that link will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.